There's a lot of confusion around these latest plans for booster shots because they don't precisely line up with what the Biden administration had announced earlier this summer.
So what you're seeing here is science playing out in a very transparent way. This is the way it ought to be. The process is to look at the data, have the experts consider it, and then make their best judgment at that point, recognizing that the judgments may change.
What the administration had wanted to see, and had some backing from the health officials working with them and their expert advisors, was that all Americans could get booster shots after 8 months or so. What's occurred in the past few weeks is a more targeted situation for people to get booster shots. So instead of everyone getting booster shots, it's a subset of the population, particularly for adults who are over 65.
Now, I know it doesn't look like it, but I am over 65. I wish I way over. And that's why I'm getting my booster shot today.
If you've received a Pfizer shot and you're 65 years or older, you can get an extra dose, a booster, at 6 months after full vaccination. There's also people who can receive shots based on their occupation. So if you're a frontline worker, an essential worker, and you come in contact with lots of people, and you may be at higher risk of exposure to the virus, you're also eligible. And then for folks who have health conditions, underlying risks that make them more susceptible to severe disease, they're also eligible as well. If you're eligible for a vaccine, you should be able to get it in a very similar way to when you got your first doses, whether that's through a clinic or your doctor or CVS. You don't need any kind of prescription. Mixing different brands of vaccines pretty consistently throughout the pandemic has been not something that's been endorsed by the CDC, simply because the safety and efficacy data aren't there for it. These drugs have been studied rigorously in trials and other observational studies using the same vaccine in sequence. So people who go out and get one shot of one thing and one shot of another on their own, that's still not something that regulators would advise. Johnson & Johnson and Moderna have been submitting data for their vaccines to get approved on a rolling basis. Pfizer was the first to do so, so that's why we saw Pfizer get full approval before the other two vaccines. Similarly with boosters, the Food and Drug Administration has to review data as the companies submit it.
Let's see, is that high enough for you?
President Biden got his booster shot on camera, and I think he was showing that the shots are safe. He also continued his message of reaching out to the unvaccinated and saying, look, these group of Americans, if you're on the fence, talk to a trusted medical source, that you can do a part in helping control this pandemic.